long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Yes, we're finally doing Star Wars. We're going to talk about all 6 films in the course of this podcast, but I'm just labelling it as Star Wars because it comes under the whole banner, really, doesn't it? So, again, I am joined by my co-host Frank.
Thank you, Carl. So we're doing Star Wars, and I think we're both pretty excited about it. And please excuse us if we get carried on.
Well, I recently bought the original trilogy on DVD, and it's really got me stoked for the originals. I really, how much I enjoyed them as a kid, and then to get back into them as an adult is a pleasure. Especially now they've connected all the films together. I mean, some people were pissed off about that, but they've done some subtle things in the old films to make them connect to the prequels a bit more and stuff, and I quite enjoyed that. How they've they've get Boba Fett, the clone commander's voice, and they've added Hayden Christensen into the end of Return of the Jedi and stuff like that. But it all started with the first one in 1977. George Lucas brought out one of the best films you will ever see. Certainly one of the blockbusters. Totally enjoy this film. Just the enjoyment factor of this film is totally there. You can watch it over and over of the original Star Wars. It's basically a basic fairy tale. You've got a princess in distress. You've got an evil lord. You've got a governor who's controlling everybody. You've got a wise ass sidekick, and you've got a little hero who's off on an adventure, a boy, and you've got a wise old wizard, and then you've got the comedy characters and whatever to come along. So, Frank, your thoughts when you first saw the very first Star Wars?
Well, I first saw Star Wars when I was too little. I maybe had 5, 6 years. Yeah, 5 years. And my grandfather was watching it, and so I stayed with him and watched it, and it really stunned me. It was a hell of a movie. I at the time I really loved sci-fi. I do enjoy it today as well, but it was just that great at the time. The special effects and the spaceships and the lightsabers and stuff, and it really catch my attention.
And certainly the depth of the universe that was created. I mean, now with all the stuff that's been made, is certainly so. You just thought of all this Force and the Jedi and all that. It was all just created in the mind of one guy. It's just amazing how people can do this. And all this stuff was created, and the look of the film was very distinct. It was a used universe. It looked like it had been lived in. And although it was... now there's people who argue this, because Star Wars is generally put in the context of sci-fi, but it isn't. It's more fantasy because the Force and it's got nothing to do with Earth and stuff. Sci-fi is the future of now. So it's sci-fi fantasy because it's got nothing to do with Earth, and it's to do with mystical energies and wizards and stuff like that, which is fantasy. So that's my opinion on that one. But certainly, still, although it had that element, it looked used. It looked real. It looked like a place that somebody could live in, and that really is a great factor of it. But the great thing about the original is all the characters are so entertaining to watch. Darth Vader is a great screen villain. Han Solo is a great character, and everybody just loves watching him on screen. Luke's a great character in himself, although a little generic. Obi-Wan Kenobi is so wise and good to watch. The droids who we actually follow through this film, and in the end the entire saga is where we follow these droids. But and Bertson, and then Leia's not a traditional damsel. She's got a bit of feistiness to her, and Chewbacca, and all the stuff is just great to watch on screen, which is what some of the prequels were missing. Was great characters, to play off each other and do real drama. I mean, especially when Lando and that came into it, and we'll talk about Empire Strikes Back in a minute. So the opening shot was of, imagine you sitting in the cinema, the first time you see it, or you're watching it at home, and you see that shot, and the ship goes over, and the Star Destroyer goes over, everybody, refers to that shot as being awesome, and it is really awesome, compared to what special effects had been up to that point. Um, and certainly, it got more hyped than the music. John Williams' themes are fantastic. I mean, when we did Jurassic Park, I put it at the front of Jurassic Park, and it just got you hyped. I'll certainly do the same thing here, and you'll probably have heard the Star Wars theme before this. I just enjoy his themes so much. So let's go. And certainly through the whole film, there's so many different themes that pop up, and they're great. I mean, I love the da 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 da. That one as well, and I love the battle themes, and eventually the Empire theme that comes in Empire Strikes Back. Just the great music in this film.
Definitely, the music was brilliant. Soundtrack was outstanding. This guy's job was in the movie was just great. Every scene concorded with every piece of music they had. As you said, the Empire and the other more like easy kind of music, and in every single scene there was the perfect tune for every scene.
Definitely. So the film starts out, and these droids crash the planet, and they get sold to, call it Destiny. They get sold to Luke Skywalker, who is this farm boy, but he's really the son of an old Jedi. And he's Obi-Wan Kenobi, this old Jedi. He gets taken to him thanks to the droid, because the droid has a message from Princess Leia, who has been captured by Darth Vader. Now, the interesting point about Darth Vader in this film is what Lucas brought up when I was watching the commentary, is that Darth Vader is a bit of a pathetic character in this film. He's being barked orders by these military guys. I mean, it isn't really until the second film that he becomes the all-feared Darth Vader. I mean, in this film, he's got that military guy who's, "Don't try to threaten us with your sorcerous ways, Lord Vader." And it's not until he chokes him that he actually shuts the fuck up. But certainly Darth Vader isn't as powerful as he would later be.
Definitely, Darth Vader is one of the greatest villains of all time. But the thing is, when you look at it, you compare it with all six movies, either he was Darth Vader or Anakin. You know how the evolution goes, and if you compare Anakin turning, really bad at Star Wars 3, and then in Star Wars 4, being in that secondary paper, to just is regarded to choke people and kill Obi-Wan, it will leaves you with some doubts that actually are all responded in the Empire Strikes Back.
And there's certainly that interesting about this the whole thing of, well, Obi-Wan killed, or did he allow himself to get killed? Because he looks at Luke, doesn't he, and then he puts his sword up. Like he always lets himself get killed in front of Luke for motivation, sort of thing, or so he can help Luke more. He's like, they've got away, my job's done, sort of thing. And certainly Obi-Wan's a great character, even when Ewan McGregor plays him later on. He's certainly one of the best characters in the saga. But in this film, he's really a great performance by the late. Jesus Christ. I hate it when I do this. I do these shows, and names that should just be on the top of my head just escape me. Alec Guinness.
Yeah, Alec Guinness.
Alec Guinness. His character, the late Alec Guinness, is a great performance in this film as a wizard. And the thing that should be noted about the first film is that everything went wrong. Lucas basically had a nervous breakdown from stress. The special effects looked naff. The first cut of the film was naff. All the crew didn't thought the film was basically a child's film, and it wasn't until they saw it that they knew what it was. None of the robots worked, and they didn't have time to do any of the scenes they wanted to do, and it just went completely wrong. I mean, it's described by Luke. Everybody thinks it's about the cantina sequence, because the whole thing is, where are all these aliens on this Tatooine planet? And then they go into this bar, and there's loads of